share the recording with us at the end? Could you send us the file?
Yes, I can.
Great, beautiful, because it'll be good for us to have it too. I might even get it transcribed by we have somebody can do that quite easily. Okay, so yeah, so just so you know, from our side, everything that we're going to talk about, I already has the approval of our team. So, you know, we've got green lights, yeah?
Great. Yeah,
so
if you could summary, yeah, because Boysen I'd love to hear a summary from you that I think would help Boysen to get grounded in all the things.
So there are 4 things that I'd like to discuss with you today. And I'll just label them now, and then we can go through as many of them as we have time for, okay? Mm-hmm. So the first is we have an ongoing reciprocal support program where we enter into collaborative reciprocal relationships with about 24, 25 people a year. So other of our partners are Jack Canfield, John Gray, the Hoffman Institute, Lynn McTaggart. These are people where we agree, we'll support you, you support us, but we do it in a very specific way that I'll just run by you so you understand. We don't do any email blasts, and we don't do any, you know, sending out prepared sales copy. I happen to be of the opinion, and I think most people on our team agree, that the entire world of internet marketing as we know it, that, you know, all the kind of established rules for internet marketing were actually developed by people who I don't think are really the right people to be listening to. I mean, a lot of these guidelines for how to do internet marketing and how to do a launch and how to do a sales letter, it's all based on principles of greed and manipulation and fear. And so I don't do any of it. I don't do blasts. I don't send out sales copy. I don't do hooks. I don't do any of that. What we like to do is we take if we partner with somebody, these are the principles. If we partner with somebody, I will take a genuine interest in what you're doing, which means if it's a book, I'll read the book. If it's a course, I'll try and take the course. You know, I will actually participate. And then through blogging, I share my experience, not only in our own blog, but I also blog for HuffPost, for Good Men Project, for Vivid Life ME, for altogether where I'm an approved author on 27 blog sites. So I really, for these people that we support, I really genuinely take an interest in their work, and I can say to our list authentically, I know these people, they're good people, they're dedicated to the evolution of humanity, they're not just trying to make a quick buck, and I can really stand behind this. So I only do it with people I know personally that I'm really in love with their work, you know? And so what I do is I blog about it, and usually then the blog will lead to an invitation to a teleseminar. These days I like to do them on Google Hangout. I guess Zoom would work too. Incidentally, the recording on this Zoom, is it video recording or audio recording or both?
Video. It's video.
Both.
Video.
Yeah.
Good, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I like to lead into some kind of live video transmission where we can have a dialogue, and from there we make an offering, right? So out of the live conversation, then we can say, now they've read the blog, they've read my newsletter, they've read the blog, they've been to a live dialogue, now they can decide if they want to go further. So you see the point, it's different from the way other people do partnerships. We don't do a quick email blast that just like, you know, get this free gift or something. So it's a particular style, and we basically ask our partners to do exactly the same thing, to read Better Than Sex, look at the Awakening Coaching website, and then find an authentic, creative way to present this to your people that is actually has you know, your flavor in it. It's not just a sales copy, but it's like, I checked this out. It's real. This guy's authentic. He really cares. This is worth your attention, you know? Mm-hmm. So we only do that. We do that every 2 weeks, and we only do it when it's reciprocal. So when there's an agreement that both sides will participate within a pre-agreed timeline, right? So that's number one. And I'll just quickly label the others, and we can get back to the details of number one. Number two is John and I are releasing this book, Conscious Men. And we would like to launch the book with a summit. We have 12 experts in the course already, one of whom is actually Bill Kauff, who of course you know, but there are others too. Mm-hmm. So we'd like to do a summit, and we wanted to invite, I don't know if this would be your private company that you have or whether it would be Mankind Project, but we would like to invite you to be the organizers of the summit. And we would we can talk about the details of that. Number three, we're launching the book not only as a book in the conventional sense, but also as an online course, which means when people go to consciousmen.com, they can either buy the book, which means Kindle or a physical book, or they can take the online course probably for like $49, which would be the entire content on video, on audio, interactive environment. So it would be, they'd have a choice to buy it as a book or to buy a multimedia experience, right? So we can talk about that. I think we're going to develop the course ourselves, but we can talk about the possibility of also making it an app like you described, and depending on the timeline, I mean, if the app is not quite ready, we can build it as a website now, but once the app is ready, we can talk more about that. And then the fourth thing for us to discuss, which is more curriculum-based, is we are going to develop, as soon as the book is launched, within Awakening Coaching, we are going to develop a conscious man coaching training, which is a training for how men can coach other men in the principles of conscious masculinity. And if you would like to talk about that, we could discuss a collaboration on that. I think that would require, well, we'll talk later about what that would require, but we would be interested to discuss collaborating with Mankind Project and developing that curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
So those are 4 topics, and we can get through whatever we can.
Great. Thank you, Arjuna. Any questions right now, Boysen? And because I will suggest that to start off, for the first partnership piece, Boysen and I have had a lot of conversations about it. And I think we basically, from a marketing perspective, have already agreed to that. So I'm not sure if there's much more we need to talk there, Arjuna, or if you feel like there's more stuff.
Yeah, there is a white elephant in the room that has to be addressed, which is basically, to place it simply, I broke my word. We had a conversation. I interviewed you about the Purpose Summit, and I sat with my notes, which are sitting right. Oh, I guess I just put them in the trash because I just finished the article. But basically, I sat with my notes, and what happened was, which is sometimes a problem in this situation when I'm writing about something generated by somebody else's work. I tried, we had that conversation, I think I don't know, when we were driving down, it was on a Tuesday or something. Then I was with John for a couple of days. That weekend, I tried to write the blog, and it was just flat as a pancake. It was just like, and I didn't know if it was that I was tired or what. I just could not get a blog out of this that I thought was going to be actually going to get shared. And there's no point in writing a blog unless people are inspired to share it. So I have kept going back and trying it. It was just one of those things that just didn't happen. And that's a little bit why I usually like to allow more time to do this, because you can't always write something brilliant on demand,
Right.
So now I do have a blog. It's still, in my opinion, a bit flat. It's just a summary of what you told me about the blueprint. I think I should just go ahead and do it. So it means we need to push back our Google Hangout till next week, which I think is fine. So this is what I want to offer you, because the blog is a bit flat, and I don't think it's necessarily going to do all that it could have done. I got stuck. I couldn't find a way to talk about this topic in a way that was exciting and original. It's like there's been so much noise on the web about purpose that I just couldn't find a voice that had something new to say. And there's no point writing a blog that's regurgitating old stuff. So this is what I want to say to you. We have this agreement. What I want to do from my side to make it right is I want to go ahead and follow through with what I said I'd do. I would like you to follow through with your side. And then I would like to write another piece for you, not about the summit because it will be too late, but I'd like to write a piece about MKP and the New Warrior training. Maybe I'll even take the training myself with Abhi. We discussed that.
Yeah.
But I would like to basically, because I fell through a little bit on this, I want to make it good by doing a 2-for-1. So you go ahead and do your promotion for us, and I will do another piece for you in addition to the one I've already done, and we'll call that a trade, because I didn't come through on this one in the way that I intended to.
Great, thank you. Yeah, thank you. I think it would be powerful if you're able to do the training sometime this summer, is to then to do your whatever it inspired or moves you coming out of that would be great. I think just like you said, you would probably have more, even if you get it and you get the flow, there might be a kernel or a gem in there that you write from and write about. That might be the best approach. Boysen, what do you think about that? That sounds great.
I think the Wild Weekend in September in Northern California.
That's actually in July.
July. The Wilderness Weekend.
Yeah, the Wilderness Weekend.
I'm not here in July, I'm afraid.
Yeah, September or November's fine too, although that pushes it out kind of late. But yeah, that sounds great. Thank you, Arjuna. Thank you for your accountability on that. I appreciate it. I was kind of wondering, wait, I thought this was coming out. So thank you for clearing that up.
Believe me, it's been right up there. Blog purpose has been at the top.
I know, top of the list. I get it.
for like 10 days, and every day I sit down and go, but when you got to write something, you can't, it's not like just crossing something off a to-do list. You got to find a voice that's got something to offer, and it just wasn't happening. And I'm sorry, but it wasn't through lack of trying. Yeah,
no worries. Yeah, and just putting it out there, just your own personal take on it, wherever that goes, I think is, it may not be as scintillating for you, but I'm sure whatever you come up with that's kind of from a personal perspective around purpose, you're certainly a man who's living on purpose. So, I'm sure it'll be good enough for now.
And our reciprocal on that is better than sex, Chris?
End of May into June, right? Arjuna, somewhere in there.
No, it needs to be end of May. June will be too late.
Too late.
Yeah,
okay.
We have a deadline for June. Yeah, you were going to read the book, and then you were going to again write a review of the book, recommending your members to read it, and sending it to the Awakening Coaching site.
Yeah. Well, and also, did we want to do the same process as going into some interview?
Yes. Yeah.
Same
exactly.
thing. Yeah. So
exactly.
the article would go into interview. Yeah. Got it.
And I think we've got that documented, right, Abhi? What the exchange is. Abhi, I can't hear you.
He's on mute.
Yes, we do. We had that in the email.
Sweet. Now, I wanted to explain to you, we do 24 of these things a year, but we could do it with you twice. You see, you could be of those 24 referral slots, you could be 2 a year if you wanted that, you see?
Right.
Because I can write a second article at another time, you see?
Okay, great.
Good.
Yeah, great. And so the question that Boysen and I will go through too is I'll make sure, I think I've sent them the copy of the PDF copy of the book. I've read it and I'd probably go and reread it. So we'll just have to decide what the voice I can write something, but Boysen also could write something. And we have different ways of communicating with the membership. So it might, it could be either 2 reviews or it could be just my byline or Boysen's byline. We'll decide that. On that.
Okay.
Because there isn't a thing, again, within MKP, there isn't a singular voice like you have, Arjuna. So that's part of our, I think it would be helpful here, because Boysen might want to chime in on this too, is one thing just as preparatory for you guys is there is you, Arjuna, with you and your platform, and you are the God. We have an organization that's very dispersed, and men have come in through their own personal development, sitting in iGroups. We've communicated with them over the years, but it's all been like, hey, here's a training coming up, or don't miss this. But we have not built a list of people, of men who are active, like, would you say, engaged in what's the next program, and buying stuff from our list and all that. Remember, this is a very organic list with a nonprofit bent to it. So there isn't really any singular voice. So, and it's sort of Boysen, and now it's a little bit more me, just because we've been hitting our list with more stuff that I'm talking about. But that's something for us to kind of figure out what's the best way to get this out so that men hear it, get it, and want to respond to it. So we have a little bit of a challenge there, just so you know. And we don't have a list that has, to be very frank with you, Arjuna, our list gets pissed at us occasionally. So with even innocuous stuff, right? So, right, Boysen, I mean, we can actually get pretty it's an organization of men that are asking to be authentic. We're asking to be authentic and speak their voice, right? So a lot of times as we send stuff out, we'll get a lot of pushback or feedback. What are we? Are we just a marketing organization? And what the fuck? And so just know we have to be delicate, even more so than maybe you or other teachers.
Connects to that authenticity piece that you were speaking to, I think, Arjuna, is that our guys have very, very accurate bullshit detectors. They don't want to be marketed to.
Right. So that's why, and we're the same. I don't ever market to my list. Yeah. I mean, the only thing I will do is I will say, hey, I read this, I'll send a newsletter with just a paragraph saying, I read this book. Yeah. And I think this would really be something worth for you looking into. Yeah. And then I write a blog that's just saying, I read this book and this is what it inspired in me, and it's interesting and it's worth thinking about. And would you like to meet the author? And this is all just giving them a gift. And then the author somewhere in the interview will mention, I have this course. So by that point, either they love him or they don't. And the people who are not really interested have already weeded themselves out. But that's why I don't ask anybody, and I don't respond to anybody wanting email blasts. I find it's like rape, but I think, you see, if you send somebody out a sales copy email blast, you're going to get that response. Like, what the fuck are you doing? But if you just say, hey, this is Chris and Boysen, and we read this book and we know this guy, and this has really touched us, and this is something really relevant to masculinity, and it's worth thinking about, that's not going to sound like marketing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I think it's really important that it doesn't appear like marketing. I mean, that's why I didn't even want to have this conversation until you'd read the book. I wanted to make sure you genuinely had respect for the book before we talked about doing this, so that it's not a fake thing. I get emails every week from Ariel Ford, saying, and it's an email blast, and I know for sure she's only sending that out because she did a reciprocal agreement with somebody. She doesn't really know the person's work. It's obvious, and I don't want to fall into that trap,
Good. Yeah, Boysen, you had.
I have a question. So in terms of just my level of decision making within the structure of the organization, so this kind of stuff I can make decisions on, no problem, and that's fine. So I make affiliate arrangements for the Mankind Project USA. I have conversations like this one, talking, hey, wow, this is an interesting thing. Hey, I read the book; it's really cool. Tell me more about what you're doing. That kind of thing. Check him out. That's all good. When we start getting into 2, 3, and 4, then it becomes, then I need advice, then I need to go to people, then I need to have conversations. I'm curious to hear from you guys, knowing that you haven't done the training, but I know, Arjuna, that you've been around a lot of MKP guys over the years, and that Bill and Chris, and you probably know 100 other new warriors that you may or may not know are new warriors.
No, yeah, I know 100 that I know are, yeah.
So why MKP? Like, I'm curious, what inspires you to say, hey, MKP, I'm willing to do two of these blasts for you. I want to be connected.
Boysen, how old are you?
44.
44. How many women do you think you've met in your life? In other words, by women, I mean human beings with breasts and vaginas. How many purely biological women have you met?
I have no idea.
Must be in the hundreds of thousands, right?
Met, probably not hundreds of thousands, certainly 10,000. I don't know.
If we include everybody who ever sat on a bus with you and everybody who ever, it's a lot, right?
Okay.
Of those, how many of you really wanted to make love with? Really, really seriously wanted to make love with?
50, maybe.
50. Okay. Would you be able to explain to me really precisely why those 50 separate themselves out from the rest of the women you've met?
Sure, they smelled good.
Okay, well then that's my answer. Why MKP? You guys smell good to me.
It's all about chemistry and smell.
Boysen, it's your smell, baby. It's irresistible. I just can't get enough of it. You smell so good, Boysen. No, it's really it's chemistry. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's a resonance. It's like I just completely trust it. You know, it's I feel the same with John Gray. I feel the same with Lynn McTaggart. I feel the same with Coot Blackson. And there's a bunch of other people who've got massive mailing lists where I just go, no, you know, I mean, if I was to partner with that person, it would just be because of the mailing list. It wouldn't be real, you know? So here's the thing. I'm going to just, since you asked, I'll answer the question. The Warrior Weekend itself and the I groups, to be honest with you, Boysen, personally, I have some reservations about it. Okay, whether it's really the right thing for me. I can tell you right now, if I do the weekend, which I may do just for this kind of brotherly reciprocity, I can say 99.9% sure I will not join an I group afterwards. And since you asked, I'll tell you why. Is that interesting for you?
It is, yes.
Yep. Yeah. And what I'm gonna say now is gonna sound disgustingly arrogant and elitist, if you'll give me that permission. You're gonna be gagging when you hear me speak these words. But
I own that shadow in myself. You don't have to worry about that, bud.
Okay.
Here's a barf bucket too, if you need it. So.
I've been involved in a men's group since 1988, I think. I don't know how many years that is, but it's quite a lot of years. Yeah. And I've been continuously in one men's group or another since then. And I'm involved now in two men's groups that are very passionate. I mean, it's the high point of, and one of them meets every other week and the other meets once a month. And we count off the days for those meetings. It's extraordinary. And in Nevada City, those are my friends. But it's a meeting of peers. It's not open to the public. You can't join the group by doing a weekend. You're invited in because there's a shared level of maturity and experience and shadow work, and we're kind of humming along at the same level together. And I did join an I group for a few months. I joined an I group, and the idea was I was going to join this I group and then do the training. And I've got to be honest with you, when I joined the I group, I felt I was sitting at least half the group. I felt that for me to spend time with these men, I need to get paid. You know, this is what I do for a living, is to guide people through sticky issues. And it seemed like it was a substitute for psychotherapy for those men. And I felt like I don't want to show up free and counsel these men. I need to get paid for this. So I'm just exposing my shadow to you now, that I have misgivings about, I have some reservation about doing a group that's open to anybody, because I find that the level that people are at due to their previous experience is so varied that I kind of prefer to hang out in closed, private, elitist circles. So there you are. You've seen the very worst of my shadow now.
I doubt it.
It gets worse.
Yeah, I could ask him. He would know better than you. the darkest of your
shadow sides.
Yeah. Anyway, I probably will do that. I probably will take you up on your invitation for the weekend to do it with Abhi. But I very rarely do events that are open to the public, because I don't know. I just find that there are levels we go through of exploring stuff, and I prefer to hang out with people who've done a lot of groundwork already.
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you.
But as an entry-level group for new men who've done no previous work, I think my impression is that the MKP weekend is perfect. That it's, I've not done it, but I know Bill very well, and I think Bill's told me just about everything that happens in it. I'm not going to say what it is, because Abhi probably doesn't know, but I know most of the secrets already. And
I'll tell him if he wants to know. So I'm a new generation of new warrior, and like
transparency.
I got a big mouth, and I don't care. I'll tell you. I'll read the menu to you, but you have no idea what the meal's going to taste like.
Right. Well, actually, Bill had a gathering of New Warrior founders. Like, he had a gathering of the original members who founded New Warrior Network. This was a couple of years ago. It was going to be up in Brighton Bush. And so he invited, I think it was about somewhere 12, 20 men, I can't remember, of the original people involved. And he invited me. And I said, Bill, I've never even done the New Warrior training, and I'm not strictly speaking an MKP brother. So maybe you sent this to the wrong person. He said to me, no, you actually belong to this tribe, whether you know it or not.
That sounds like Bill. I love that story. Yeah. That's great. Well, I know we're coming up to the hour. I don't know how much time you guys have, but I do want to dive in. Any other high-level questions, Boysen? But I would like to try to get to 2 and 3, maybe even 4 today, which is some more knowledge for us to take to potentially the next level.
And if you could give me like 15 minutes, I can highlight them. I can go over the highlights of what.
Yeah, that would be good. And thank you for that, answering that question.
You can't always rely upon me to be very likable, but you can rely on me to be honest.
Cool. That's all that's necessary, really.
Okay.
And I haven't really been paying any attention to your face, so I've been watching your son as you're speaking.
And what did you see?
I can agree with that. Not always likable.
Yeah. I've been watching him kind of subtly nod and facial expressions. And
I see. So what message did you get from him overall?
That you were telling the truth.
I see. Particularly when I said elitist and obnoxious. He's going.
Oh yeah.
And God.
And God.
Well, good. So I would love to hear more about 2, 3, 4, and then we can kind of take this, and I can provide you guys with the recording, and we can take this to the next place.
Yeah. Okay. So number 2 is we would like to launch this book with a summit. Really, the 2 people we could talk to, in my view, would be you or Claire and Craig.
Mm-hmm.
For me, a summit needs to be done in a kind of tasteful way, and I guess I was part of a summit with you guys when you did the Power of Purpose Summit, and I liked the way you did it. I felt it had integrity. I like the fact that you're non-profit and that you're not just trying to make a quick buck. You care about, you have the same values that we do. And for us, I think, if you'd be willing to do it, you'd be the ideal partners. I think the names generated would be relevant to all parties. What I would suggest we do, there will be a bit of an issue because we're going to create the summit, which will create names. Yeah. And there will then be 3 possible repositories for those names, which will be Awakening Coaching, Mars, Venus, and MKP. Mm-hmm. So I would suggest that we collect the names, and that over a period of time, each of those 3 organizations has an opportunity to mail to the names we collect twice, saying, would you now, so I could mail twice, would you now like to know about Awakening Coaching and get on my mailing list? And John can say, would you like to know more about my supplements? So that basically we pool the names, but we all 3 of us have an opportunity to subscribe them to another list. And then after a certain period of time, we just destroy the list. So we archive it so that it's, because the thing is, you don't want to mail to a list after months of no activity. So I think we've got to use it for the summit. We've got to, convert people to our own lists, and then let's say to decide. If I had to, we don't really want to organize a summit ourselves. At least I don't think we do. We could, but I don't think we do. And I'd rather have it organized by somebody who knows what they're doing. And I think you guys would do a good job. You did a nice job with the Power of Purpose. I think the names generated would be useful to you, and if you want to do it, you know what to do. It's we want to basically do a summit about conscious masculinity, and then upsell the book and maybe the online course if it's ready, and then upsell other things too. As I said, other things that you're offering that we're offering. People who come to a conscious masculinity summit are going to be prime candidates for the MKP training.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
a couple questions about that, because we actually haven't dove in too much, Arjuna, to this with the summit. Do you see it as a the presented by, is it sort of Awakening Coaching, Mars, Venus, MKP presents, kind of like try to figure out, have a 3-brand?
I think so.
Because John would want that too. John would want a Mars and Venus piece too, or does he want to just be conscious men with you, or does he need? Does he need?
No, if it was 3, it would be Awakening Coaching, Mars, Venus, MKP.
Yeah.
We could just say Conscious Men presents, but then have an agreement amongst us that we will have an opportunity to convert the names.
Yeah, and like in the summit, we had a place and a page where you could see who are the organizers and the sponsors, so there could be all that as well. So those 3, so the 3 brand, and then what are you thinking in terms of size and scope, Arjuna? I mean, I have ideas and all that, but it does really, like the Power of Purpose Summit this last year was awesome, but it was we did 28 speakers and it was too much.
Yeah, so we've got 12 topics.
12,
we did discuss this, you and I, in the restaurant. Maybe you forgot, but it's 12 topics.
Oh yeah, no, we did talk. Okay, that's right. And you have 12 people you've interviewed in the book, basically, too, right?
Yeah, and they're good. They're really amazing people. It's like John Mackey, who's the founder of Whole Foods.
Right.
Leonard Cohen's going to be part of it. Russell Brand, the actor.
Mm-hmm.
It's very cool people. It's really great people.
By the way, just so I know, so I don't forget on this call, can one of you send? Do you have the book already in a PDF,
No.
Arjuna?
No.
But at least could you send us the names of the key people you've interviewed?
Hi, Chris's wife.
Hello. Oh, yeah, there's Charmaine. You could say hi. They see you. So just say hi to Arjuna.
Charmaine. Hi.
I'm getting out of here.
Hi.
It's her birthday today.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
She can hear us, can't she?
No, she can't hear us. And the fundamental question is really about Chris's priorities, I think, is
okay.
The fundamental question.
What's my number one priority is her. Is that one, at least my first and then
yeah. We've got 12 speakers. They're all amazingly great speakers. Jack Canfield. So obviously what we need to do is get them to agree to promote it to their list. That's the point. Is we're going to have to say you can be on the summit if you promote it to your list. We should have access to, I think, 4 or 5 million names if they all promote it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what's your confidence level of them just at least being in the summit interviewed, whether they fully promote it or not? That's the first sketch. Do you think all 12 of them?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. They've already said they will.
Okay, great. And then second is hopefully most of them would blast to whatever their lists are, but
don't say blast. No, don't say blast.
Communicate to their list. Yes.
We need, there are ways that people have done this recently, which are very tasteful, where instead of saying you have to send 2 blasts, just say,
say blast. You just use blast. You can't say that. See,
what we could say is we could say, what would you be willing to talk to us about how to promote this? How do you think we could best promote it? Ivan Meisner is part of it, who's the founder of Business Network International.
That's
huge organization. What?
I know. Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Ivan's a fantastic guy. Is he an MKP brother? I don't think so. Is he?
No, I was a BNI guy for a while.
Okay. Well, Ivan's part of the book and very enthusiastic, and Ken Wilber's part of the book. So, integral people will come in, so it's
great. So get 12 people. They're committed to being part of the summit. We'll get creative on how they talk about it to their community, how they communicate it to their community. That's how the new words I'm using. And then can you quickly just give me the other names off the top of your head? I have Russell Brand, John Mackey, John Canfield, Ivan Meisner, Ken Wilber.
Okay. Right. Ready?
Bill Kauth. Yeah.
Some of them are doubled. Okay. So on the topic, I'll give you the topics and the names. Okay.
Okay.
Ready? So, and in fact, let me just run a separate recorder on this and I can send it over to you right away. I'll just get the recorder. Hold on. And I can send this to you and I can do it really quickly like that.
We're good. I'm recording.
Yeah. We don't need a second recording, but that's all right.
Well, this will just make it isolated,
Okay, great.
It would mean that it's not part of a bigger recording.
Yeah, good point.
So then I can just do this really quick. Okay, so hold on. Technology, here we go. Okay, so the first topic is He knows how to take space gracefully. It's about meditation going in.
Mm-hmm.
There are two experts on that. Dawa Phillips, who is you check him out. Dawa Phillips is a very cool guy, and Russell Brand, the actor. Russell Brand has agreed in principle to do the interview, but it's been very hard to actually pin him down, so I haven't done it yet. He has a sense of mission and purpose. The expert is John Mackey, the founder of Whole Foods. He knows how to love deeply. The expert is Jack Canfield. He feels his hurt, but is not run by it. The expert is Bill Kauth. He's aware. He knows how to turn his anger into power. And the expert is Tony Porter, the founder of, what's the name of the organization? Calling all men. It's called.
Calling all men. Yeah.
A call to men.
A call to men.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. He loves his brother. And the expert is Ken Druck. You know, Ken was actually one of the original instigators of MKP. Do you know Ken?
No, I don't know Ken. Ken Druck, no.
Ken Druck started up men's groups before there was MKP and was one of the original inspirers for Bill Kauth.
And one of the people who was on the Phil Donahue show in '91.
That's right. That's how I know the name. Yeah. Got it.
The next one is he keeps his word. And the expert is Ivan Meisner. He has love and respect for the gifts of the feminine, right? So he has deep respect for feminine energy. The expert is Viet Lindau, who is actually one of the most successful and popular seminar leaders in Germany. And we chose him because it opens up the whole German world to us. He's publishing the book in German, but also we have a promise of an interview with Leonard Cohen. So that topic. His sexuality is a gift of love. And the expert is Lee Holden, who is a Taoist sexuality teacher in Santa Cruz. I can't remember exactly the title, but it's something along the lines of his humor opens everyone around him. And the expert is Paul Sheely. He knows how to listen like the sky. The expert is Eckhart Tolle. He is aware of our history. The experts are Ken Wilber, Warren Farrell, and Mark Gaffney. Boom. I would appreciate, gentlemen, if you could keep this confidential between us. I don't really want this to be published until it's out.
Thank you.
No. Yep. Got it. Ken Wilber, Mark Gaffney, and who? Who's the last one?
Warren, Ken Wilber, Warren Farrell,
Warren Farrell.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Good, beautiful. Thank you for that. That's helpful. And that's helpful.
There's one thing you should know as well, which is going to make this a little bit different for you. The book is not actually just for men. The book is actually just as much for women, right? Because each chapter, each of these 12 chapters has 4 sections, right? The first section is defining what it is. The second section is clarifying what gets in the way. Like, why do we have problem with, like, for example, he knows how to keep his word. What is the challenge that we face as men that make it difficult for us to keep our word, right? The third section is a practice. Here's what you can do in practical terms to move this quality forward in your life. And the fourth section is called For the Ladies. And it's about how a woman can recognize a man like this, can attract a man like this, and once she has a man like in her life, how she can bring forth these qualities in her man. Because many women today say to us, where are the conscious men? You know, I want a conscious man. Where do I find myself a conscious man? A lot of single women say this. A lot of married women say, you know, my husband is frustrating and disappointing to me. How can I encourage him to have these qualities more? So we want to address that actually conscious masculinity is a topic that's just as relevant for women as for men. So that will make it that will make this a little different from some of the other stuff that you've thought about before.
That's great. And then the interview is sort of a woven through. It's a kind of a fifth component, but the interview is woven through 1 through 4.
separate chapter in the book. So it's
separate chapter. Okay.
Yeah, we write our chapter, then we have an expert for 2 pages.
Okay, got it. So, but for that expert for each of those sections, that's at the end of even after for the ladies. There's the interview at the end of the chapter.
But it's not at the end of the chapter. It's a new chapter. So you could say that there are 12 topics, 24 chapters.
Okay, got it. Great.
What are your thoughts, Boysen?
I like the sound of the book. I'd read that. Yeah. And yeah, not just because it sounds like the new Macho poem either. He knows. He knows.
What did you say, the new Macho poem?
Yeah, a poem that I wrote in 2010 called The New Macho.
Right.
That's, very good. Cool.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a definitive list, but I think if men can cultivate those 12 qualities, the things we haven't mentioned will probably fall into place on their own.
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, thank you. Yeah. So this is great. So this is good stuff for us to think about. And I know what you're essentially asking, just to reiterate, Arjuna, is for MKP to be co-producers with you, but kind of doing the heavy lifting of the production of it while you bring the content and the speakers and all that, right, to bear?
I think you would be our first choice, but I'd like you to come to a decision on that, because if you're not going to do it, I need to pursue a conversation with alternative partners, right?
And then
maybe do it in house, yeah.
Or do it in house, yeah. And then remind me, we did talk about this, but for Boysen's sake, for the summit, timing of it, we were thinking possibly the fall, but we'd also said it might roll into the first of the next year. Is that still your thinking, or does it need to be the fall?
No, it needs to be the fall, or it might roll earlier to the summer.
Okay.
If it's gonna roll to next year, we just need to do it. We need to find another way to do it. We can't wait that long.
Okay. So fall at the late. Yeah. I mean, fall would be a better time. I mean, you know this, Arjuna, just in terms of getting people's attention.
Yeah.
Doing in the middle of the summer is not going to be great. So we want to push it to the fall.
Yeah.
And we're launching a course, we have our own online course to launch, MKP, the risk course, which we may ask for your support for that if we're talking about that partnership. Okay. That's Christian and Sonica, who you know well too. So there's that kind of connection.
Yeah.
But I think that's the only thing, OTP. We decided not to launch something new this year, Arjuna. So that's good for us as we talk about this. Is like, okay, great. We didn't launch a brand new course this year. So,
okay. Well, let me just continue with 3 and 4. So we've got it all down.
Yeah.
And number 3 does not necessarily involve, I don't know if it involves MKP specifically at all. Right. But as I mentioned, we don't want to just publish a book, because what we're seeing is people are reading books less and less and less, and they're going to online delivery more. So we're actually going to release this as a book and an online environment at the same time, where all the same material is on video. So you can either read the book, or you can watch it delivered to you on video by me and John and these other speakers. So we can build that in Kajabi as an online course. But I know that we've talked about creating an app. Now, the company that you have for the app, does that have a name, the company that produces the app?
Yeah, and I'll remind you, so Boysen's kind of in the dark on this. So anything related to the app, Arjuna, and how we would navigate that is really my project.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, and it really would be unhooked and not complicated by MKP. So I
was not aware, yeah. Do you have a partner with the app, or is it just you alone?
No, I have a technical partner for the app, who's in San Francisco.
Could you just say the name, so I've got that note on that?
You mean that partner's name or the app name?
Yeah.
The partner's name is Steve Aykroyd.
Okay. Brother of Dan Aykroyd?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're both pretty goofy.
Okay.
I don't think he was.
So Boyce, but with the Power of Purpose Summit, Boysen, you are the co-teacher, right?
No, so let's review the things. Remember, the Power Purpose Summit was just the summit. So my hostess last year. Yeah.
The Power of Purpose course, the course you're starting.
It's actually called Man on Purpose. Remember, Man on Purpose course?
Yeah.
The Man on Purpose 7-week essential online course for men. I created the content for that, and I've co-taught that the last 2 years with a guy named George Durrani, who's a full leader in MKP. And then
George Durrani.
Durrani, but that's he's old now. So the new teacher I have is a guy named Brandon Peel.
He's gonna kick your ass.
I know he is. I know.
Brandon Peel.
Peel. Yes.
How do you spell his last name?
Peele.
Great. Okay. So Boysen, what is your last name?
Hodgson. Hodgson.
Okay. And so your part of all this is that you're not teaching the man on purpose, but you're the marketing director for MKP.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Great.
And then my intention with the Man on Purpose course, which is really a kind of a new way of looking at these courses, is that we're building all of these courses for the potential that other people could step in and teach it and evolve it. So
Great.
I launched the Man on Purpose course with George. We co-created it. George said, look, I'll do 2 years with you, Chris. And it's not central to my purpose. Love it. But I'm stepping out. And then even next year, I may step out, and then Brandon and another teacher come in and teach it together. So we're really excited about that as a living, breathing. It's not a cult of personality so much as really valuable content that different teachers could come in and teach it.
Much more connected to the value of MKP.
Right. It's a big value of MKP.
We're not a cult of personality.
Right.
Yeah. Well, just in case it wasn't obvious at the time, I will now spell this out overtly. I hope you understand I was totally joking about, I'm God.
Okay.
We have exactly the same system. We've got 23 people. Our CEO runs our company on holographic principles. It's all decisions are made round table, and we have 9 teachers of the Awakening Coaching Training, who many of them teach without me being present at all. So we're exactly the same as you. I was actually, when I was making this reference to God, it was like we're so not like that it was kind of it's kind of a little bit making fun of the whole.
I got it, but you are God too at some level.
And it's okay. You just triggered one of Chris's shadows.
Oh, I see.
That's really what was happening.
My God shadow, you mean?
Yes, or your God shadow.
Oh my God. No, my bad dad shadow. Remember, that's it. Eric and Boysen have a whole bad dad thing going.
Okay.
If you work with Chris long enough, he will trigger your bad dad. He will trigger your bad dad.
That's good.
Baghdad. Okay. So the online course doesn't really involve MKP at all then. I mean, us creating a course, that's not. So let me just get on to number 4.
Well, let me pause you there, Arjuna. I mean, we've got this recorded. It's possible that if it's a great course, and that's still part of our offering potentially, right? Because you've already said there's the book and then there's the course. We could market and support the
you can market and support it. In terms of developing the content, we've got that under control.
No. That's what I'm saying. But I mean, when you said, yes, so the content's all used, but we can support the men going and taking the course, right?
Yes, sure. But that would just be a byproduct of that would really just be you earning affiliate fees when MKP men come through the summit.
Sure, right. Yeah.
So now let's get on to number 4, which is in a way the juiciest in terms of, being inspiring and an opportunity. So, Boysen, you probably don't. I'm imagining you don't know very much about awakening coaching yet. Would that be right?
That's true. I do not know a lot.
Yeah, I just sent you an email. I don't know if you saw it. I just sent you my book, but as a digital book.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So we have a training, Boysen, which it's a coaching training, but it's a coaching training very much oriented towards waking up. It's not so much oriented towards achieving specific material goals, although that's part of it. It's much more oriented towards recognizing your true nature and living from there. Does that language resonate for you? Yeah. Yes. Totally. Okay. So we have what we call the basic skills course, which is where everybody starts. We have a course called client interaction where coaches learn how to create a coaching relationship. And then we have some advanced courses. There's the deeper love training, which is about relationship, coaching people in relationship around intimacy. We have a group facilitation, which is about working with groups. We have a marketing course. And this year, we are going to develop a conscious man coaching training course. So where we train our coaches how men can coach men in these 12 principles of conscious masculinity. So we're going to do that anyway, but it would be more interesting if a group of MKP leaders felt inspired to review our basic skills course, we could actually develop that conscious man coaching training in collaboration with, for example, the two of you. So that's just an invitation there that we could discuss developing curriculum around a coaching training.
That would definitely be a conversation to be had with the curriculum committee in MKP.
Right.
And I can see how the idea can definitely tie into some other things, other conversations that are definitely ongoing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have the platform for that. I mean, we've got everything needed to build it. If there were senior men in MKP who wanted to help develop the curriculum, they could come in as guest teachers in the training. So, I would kind of hold it together because I'm used to doing that, but different MKP men could teach aspects of the training, and it could become then something tailor-made towards MKP brothers learning how to coach other men.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's definitely interesting.
What do you think, Boysen, that fits in with some of the conversations you're having? Are you thinking around the kind of I group, IGLT and I group? Yeah, I mean, that's where I'm thinking too.
Yeah. So we've got,
and beyond that, yeah.
And, in kind of confidentialist space. So we've got a couple of different things going on right now with creating a safe circle facilitation curriculum for warriors for I groups. So, one thing that guys who are experienced in MKP, we hold space like motherfuckers for creating circles, and we're good at it. And so putting that into a curriculum that we can offer especially for new warriors around creating and maintaining really safe, tight containers.
Yeah.
And I see parallels here. So now we're talking about men coaching other men in principles of conscious masculinity. And I think that there would definitely be MKP men who would be inspired by that.
Yeah. So we could develop curriculum together. We could share revenue. The only thing you really wouldn't have to worry about is the actual technical aspect of, I just need to create video with some of these men, but the actual technical part of putting it together, we've got that handled because we've got a whole infrastructure in place for training coaches online. So and it could also be tied to a weekend. We could do a weekend retreat for the men involved in that training.
Yeah. Arjuna, do you see this as more in person or online or both? I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
It could be done very adequately. It could be done completely online, and that would allow it to be international. But we could offer a weekend retreat for those men to get together and just to bond and get to know each other. But I'd want to be specific. I think this would be training men in how to coach other men for money. So it would be a paid relationship, and mostly it's is that your family coming home?
It is.
Are we going to get to see your girls?
Probably, yes. You're going to hear them long before you see them. The energy level in the house is now on the. Here comes the roller coaster.
Right. Well, I lived in that reality for a long time, and look how well it's turned out.
It's good.
Well, I would actually be very excited. You see, my kind of passion, where I get a hard on in life, is developing content. I try to farm out. Well, not farm out. That's not the right word. I try to work with other people who like to do the technical stuff. For example, Abhi is really genius at maintaining these sites. He does a really, really good job at it, so that he can maintain sites, and I just have to glance at it and go, "Great job." I don't really have to be very involved. So it frees me up just to work on creating content. And I would really enjoy the thought of getting together for a weekend with, let's say, 5 really experienced MKP brothers, of which Bill should be one of them. Definitely Bill should be part of that group. Hey, hello. What's your
They can't hear
name?
you. They can't hear you.
What's her name?
This is
Hi.
This is
Hi,
Tiana.
sweetheart. Oh, you look very beautiful. You're
still
very,
can't
very
hear you.
beautiful.
Hi, Tiana.
This is Chris and Abhi and Arjuna.
What a pretty girl.
This
Tell
is
her she's a
Tiana.
pretty girl.
Oh,
She's a very pretty girl.
you're being told you're a pretty girl, especially that face.
Hi,
That
Tiana. Oh, and you sing well as well.
Oh, she sings very well. Yes.
She's a character. All right. Let's. I think it's a good sign to wrap up within a few minutes, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I mean, basically, a kind of process like that, it takes time to develop. So if you were in principle interested in developing a curriculum like that, we should think about having a weekend together, 5 men. I would hope that you guys might be interested, and it would be wonderful to have Bill in there. I know Bill would be interested too. Get a group of men together who have experience of developing curriculum, spend a weekend together and map out a 14 or 16-week coaching training that we could then coach together.
Great. Yeah, I mean, I think there would be some excitement in the organization, and the 2 tracks on that. One are finding the men that would be excited to do that, who are at a high level, like in terms of content development, probably full leaders or co-leaders in MKP.
Guys who are already coaches also.
Yeah, and some who are already coaches, exactly. And we have a lot of it. You can imagine, Arjuna, right? There's also a lot of coaches in MKP. And also the same track would be getting that into the curriculum committee, the curriculum circle. Sorry, I got to get rid of the word committees. The curriculum circle, so that discussion can happen, Arjuna, sooner than later, even in parallel, because it's going to have to be in parallel. So getting men excited about it, and then the curriculum team going through the vetting process. And we'd probably come back to you with more, like, here's our list of questions we need to ask you of what you're thinking.
Right.
And,
So let me ask you some things. The exchange we're already good with, and we're going to modify the exchange to say that for my part, in addition to the blog I've written now, I'm going to write another one for you as well to create balance. But the summit, when would you know, how soon could you know for sure that you're going to do the summit, so I know if I need to look for a backup?
I would have to go to that would be a conversation I would need to have with at least, Chris, I'm looking for you to nod to, at least with Robert Powell, and probably with Julian as well in the curriculum committee. And then if we're talking about financial impact, then we would have to do a budgeting process. So first would be going
Well, let me interrupt you for a minute. I don't anticipate that you would need to spend any money on this. What we would want you to do is provide the organizational skill. We can pay for the website, and you basically what you need is to build a site, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we can pay for the site if you can just provide the people to do it. John and I can cover the cost of the site development.
Yeah, I mean, I've done this a bunch of times, Arjuna. So there is still an impact on the organization for people's time. So we still need to build a budget, and we need to get approval for that. But yeah, I hear you. Thank you that you guys would cover some hard costs. So we would still want to do a rough budget and say, okay, are you guys in for X? Can you put this money in? And that would be probably the next step, is we would talk about the timing, our desire to do it as an organization, and then financial impact. And we can get back to you, quickly on that. Maybe, but Boysen, maybe, because I'm 2 weeks. Yeah.
2 weeks is great. 2 weeks.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
We can have those conversations and get back to you.
If you could give me a kind of more or less yes or no in 2 weeks, that would be great. Yeah.
Okay. Great.
And then the online course, I think all we need to know right now is, would a group of men be interested in getting together to brainstorm? You mean
the coaching program? You just said the online course.
Sorry, the coaching
program.
So what I've been suggesting a number of times is to make sure that Bill's in there. Are you in agreement that Bill Kauth's presence would be awesome?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I agree.
Now, how would it
be awesome? And I don't know that he would actually commit to it.
Well, how about I call him today, and he and I have talked about it already.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Great. No, I would love to have Bill a part of that. I know Bill well. He's a good friend. Yeah, I mean, right. Whether it's 6 guys in the room or 3 or 8, I don't see any reason why if Bill wants to, and you have a good relationship with him, that he wouldn't be in that room. Absolutely.
Well, I think he's a genius at content creation. You see.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, I could invite Ken Druck as well.
That would be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Ken would do it for sure. We might have to do it in Southern California because that's where he is, you know. But and Abhi, would you like to be part of that if we do a weekend like that?
Definitely, yeah.
Great.
So, and before you talk to Ken, I mean, you certainly talk to Bill about it, but before you talk to Ken or anybody, let us get a little deeper in the process. So that, before any kind of like, hey, we're going to do this or join us, but you know.
Well, I can talk to these guys without mentioning MKP as an organization.
Okay, sure. Got it.
I mean, we're going to do this anyway. We'd love to do it in collaboration with you. If you guys are not in, then we'll just go ahead anyway. But I'm going to create a course like this year, no matter what. You know, I think it would just be great to do it in alignment with your organization. So let me just ask the two of you, if we were to do a weekend aimed at curriculum development and get together for a weekend, Chris, would you like to be there?
Yeah, I'd like to be there if we decide to move forward. Absolutely.
Boysen, would you like to be there?
I will have to breathe into that question.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
good.
You may understand what my highest priority is not right now in my life.
Sure, of course. Yeah,
Children,
got it.
Girls. Yeah.
It's also an integration process for you, isn't it? It's not just that you've got teenage girls. You've got the integration process of letting them really feel a sense of stability and home.
All of it.
Yeah.
Fundamental safety and trust. Attachment.
Yeah.
I mean, I am a reparent and a parent.
Yeah. Sweet, man. Well, kudos to you. I really respect you for doing that. It's like totally transforming someone's life.
And the possibility excites me. And there's a huge talent. There's a huge amount of talent within MKP. I don't even know all the guys, but yeah. I mean, Bill Kauth knows everyone. He would be somebody to ask. But there are guys out there who have had coaching practices for a long time, and I'm sure that this idea of coaching for conscious masculinity, conscious manhood would be very exciting. To them.
I'm a little bit, the thing is coaching, we use the word coaching, and the word coaching actually refers to many, many different styles. So I think if we are going to talk to men who've been coaching a long time, I would have to ask them to read my book and see if they can find enough resonance with it, because it's there are many different styles of coaching that are not necessarily completely in tune with each other,
But I mean, a couple of guys that names, so Mike Herstosky, his name jumps up to me right away. Sam Hirschberger, who's also in Southern California, his name jumps up to me. And those are young guys. Those are millennials.
Oh, good.
Yeah, who are bringing in conscious, and you're right. They're finding their own way through it, Arjuna. They're finding their own structures, systems. But yeah, more and more you're seeing.
They're not CTI kind of guys.
Right.
Yeah. Got it. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Great.
Beautiful. Well, this has been a rich meeting. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Arjuna, Abhi. It was great hearing you, Abhi, at the beginning. And sorry we didn't get more of you during the call.
Oh, good. Got a lot of notes from today. And it's great meeting you, Boysen.
Great. And then also, Abhi, just let's get back to me or both of you about rescheduling, what date we want to reschedule, and if we're on track with the blog.
Can I ask you that now, actually?
Yeah.
Would you mind if we just get it done? Boysen, do you need to drop off for your girls and I can just finish up this piece of business?
Yeah, I will do that, Chris. So when you dump the meeting here, I think that I'm the owner of this meeting. So when you drop it, it'll drop, but I will just turn off my audio and turn off my video, and then you can shut it down.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. Thank you, Boysen.
Thanks, Boysen.
Good to meet you.
Hey, man. Good to meet you. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, I've enjoyed this. I'm connected. Take it easy, guys.
Thank you, Boysen.
Thank you.
Great. Good stuff.
I'm looking at my calendar. And I really do want to apologize. It's like I feel a little flaky with what happened with this blog. It's just awkward when things don't flow, you know.
I get it. I do a bunch of writing too, and I get it. Sometimes it flows, sometimes it doesn't. So totally understand.
I don't want to put out kind of substandard stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we had tomorrow scheduled. So if probably
tomorrow we need to cancel. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. We had that. So the 30th, does that work for you guys?
Oh, hang on a second. Sorry, my browser has frozen, so I can't get into the calendar. So just a second. I don't know what's going on here. Just 1 second. I'm sorry. I don't know why.
Okay.
Oh my God. Yeah, my browser's all messed up.
Uh-oh.
Just give me a minute. Ah, I see. Okay. Yeah, there's a warning message. Yeah, I need to quit Firefox, I think.
So on the 30th, that Mari is in town.
Mary.
Mary's in town.
Yeah, I know, but I'm taking that into account. Just a minute. Let me just get back in, because I think. Thanks, Abby. I think I need to also see it myself, actually. Hang on a minute. Now, last time you suggested 12 p.m., Chris?
Yeah.
12 noon. Was there a reason why you suggested that?
Well, you guys actually determined it at the end, and it was mostly suggesting two time slots, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, if you're thinking mostly North America. But if we're thinking a big part of your audience is in Europe, then you want to do it earlier in the day. And I think that's, Abby confirmed that you guys have a lot of people from Europe. So I'm open either way. So what do you?
The only thing is that, you see, if you do it at 12 noon, it's 9 p.m. in Europe. That's getting a little late. Yeah.
You tell me what's the best time, do you think, for your list to join us live? Like, what's the ideal time?
Yeah, I'm looking. Hang on. All right. Let's do, it would need to be the day before, that Wednesday the 29th. Is that going to work for you?
Yeah, sure. When do you think the blog will go out? Because that'll determine, like,
today it's done. Today. I've got it. It's written. It's going to go up as soon as we finish this call. It's going to go up.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, Wednesdays I'm open all the way. I cannot do it in the evening, unfortunately. So
no. We're not going to do it in the evening. I would suggest we do
10 o'clock.
Do we have the client interaction, or is that
we skip next week. So let's do 11 p.m.
11 a.m.
11 a.m. 11 a.m.
So it's 8 o'clock for Europe.
Actually, let's do 11:30. I think that would be 8:30 in Europe. That's probably a good time too.
Okay.
Let's do 11:30 a.m. Right. We've got it. Abby, can you reschedule that in Google Hangout, all right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Great, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Arjuna, Abby. Beautiful.
You'll get a link to the blog within an hour.
Okay, awesome. Thank you both.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Talk to you later.
Hey.
Bye.
Bye, Chris.
Bye.
Bye.